Hello friends, and a warm welcome to the Slow Living Collective. This is a podcast about slowing down, living seasonally and embracing an intentional life. So introductions. I'm Amy. I'm a 30-something mum of two, homemaker, home educator and allotment gardener. And these podcasts are love notes from me, sharing the things that I sometimes need to hear myself as well. In these episodes, I'm going to delve into what it means to walk a different path, to stepping outside societal norms and embracing all the beauty that it provides. From educating our children outside of the school system, living in a small home by choice, surrounding ourselves with a life of intention instead of living a life by default. I welcome you to come on this journey with me and open your mind to maybe a different way of living. I hope you find what you're looking for within the words of these podcasts, and I hope they speak to you in your own unique way. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode here on the Slow Living Collective. Thank you so much for all of your comments, your reviews, your messages you send me on Instagram. I am so thrilled that so many of you enjoy this podcast, and just as much as I enjoy making it, I find podcasting so therapeutic and so good for the soul. Now, right on schedule, my cat Beatrice has heard me podcasting and she is here. She wants to get involved. So, as per usual, any muffles, scratching noises, anything like that can probably be attributed to her. And she just loves to come over when I hit that record button. She really does. She is absolutely a part of this podcast. So, shout out to Beatrice, she's right here and purring away. Probably not close enough to the microphone for you guys to hear at this point, however. So today I want to talk about Christmas, and I want to talk about it in the sense of slowing down and simplifying and how we can just really be mindful going into the season, because it is a season of excess, and excess is everywhere, consumerism is everywhere, this expectation is everywhere, and I want to sort of share how we almost opt out of a lot of the things that Christmas forces upon us. And I just want to share how you can still slow down and simplify this season. It doesn't have to be this sort of excessive season where you end up burnt out. Now, I know you can all hear Beatrice purring, but she's co-hosting with me today, and we're just going to dive in and start talking about some ways that you can be more mindful, protect your energy, be more intentional, and just not get overwhelmed by the Christmas season, because it can sometimes be a lot, and I think it's sometimes intended to be a lot. Obviously, in terms of purchasing presents and things like that, that's a consumerism thing. It's intended to be a lot. It's intended to, push at us all the time. We've just passed Black Friday, which is a bit of a US import for us here in the UK. Not something that I grew up with. Black Friday just wasn't even a thing. But obviously, as time goes on, these things have changed, and Black Friday is becoming very much part of our pre-Christmas culture here as well. And Black Friday's not for me. I don't love consumerism in general. I don't love, fast fashion. I don't love just fast consumerism in general. It's, to me, it's gross, and it is the epitome of everything that is sort of wrong in our society, in terms of, not paying workers fairly, exploiting employees, contributing to a world that is, on the brink of catastrophe in terms of the climate crisis. And I just I'm just not down with Black Friday. I'm really not. Not to mention that most of the deals at Black Friday aren't even deals. So there's that as well. I don't want to be part of something that, endorses everything that is wrong with society and our culture around purchasing, spending, and consumerism. It's funny because when we talk about Christmas, there are so many amazing and positive parts to it. Like, on the one hand, I love Christmas. I love when it actually gets to Christmas, when all of the stress and strain and buying of things is done. I absolutely just love those days where the world or the country or, around me closes down and we just focus sort of inward for a few days. And I know that's not everyone's reality, but certainly for us, we spend our time in December, seeing family, and that's wonderful. Spending time with close friends, just getting together ahead of Christmas, which I'm going to go into in a little more detail in a while, but just enjoying, spending time with people that we love. And, those days actually over Christmas, we always focus our attentions on like unplugging, switching off, and just being very present. And that's what's the most important thing for us, is to be able to make those memories and spend time together, spend time with our family. And it's not about the presents. Oh, hey, Beatrice. Oh, hey, you come to purr on the podcast. Um, yeah, it's not about the presents that we have and what we buy each other. It's about those moments where we are able to just enjoy being together, and that's where we get most of our joy from. So the first thing I want to dive into in terms of Christmas is that it's okay to opt out of certain things. It's okay to opt out of what everyone else is doing. You don't have to visit a Christmas tree farm. You don't have to go and see Santa. You don't have to go to parades. You don't have to, have dinner with Santa, breakfast with Santa. You don't have to do anything that doesn't serve you, because it can seem like a lot, and it can seem really like a lot when you have children, because you're supposed to create this magical season that they're always going to remember, and there is so much pressure on that. And it's something, since we had children, that we don't indulge in. For us personally, going to visit Santa, we don't do. Um, and that's because of the expectation on our children to perform in a certain way. Everybody wants to get this picture from Santa, sitting on Santa's knee, or adjacent to Santa, as the case may be. And we don't expect our children to perform in that way for us. We don't expect our children to actually even feel comfortable to do that. And I certainly am not going to get into this routine where, I expect my children to want to go and see Santa, but also to just be happy about it, because that's actually not always the reality. I'm not going to put my children through something where they're screaming and crying just for the picture, right? And I'm just going to give you a little warning. If you are listening with children present, you might want to turn the volume down or just skip ahead a little bit. I'm going to talk about something that we don't want young ears to hear in terms of Christmas. So this is your warning. I'm going ahead now. Something that we are passionate about in terms of our family and Christmas is that we don't want our children to think that Father Christmas is this magical being that produces presents, and there are no consequence for that. So we are still finding our way with Father Christmas and how that works and what that looks like in our family. I don't quite know what I'm doing, but that's parenting, I think. I, I'm torn between this idea of um, Father Christmas and not telling the truth to my children. I don't love the idea of making making them believe in something that ultimately they'll find out one day isn't true. And yeah, so my children are young enough that it's actually not really a big deal at the moment. I also don't agree with this idea about Santa that, you know, financially you can just ask for whatever you like. Santa will bring it in some cases, and it's just not for me. I don't want to raise children that just expect, and children to some extent do expect. We often have these conversations with our children. If something breaks, my eldest, she's 3, and she'll just say, "Oh, you can buy another one," and it's like, but that's not how that works. We don't just, you know, we take care of things, and it's not just an endless money pot, and that's obviously something we all have to learn. And we are really passionate about our children, knowing that as well. And so I'm still figuring it out, finding my way, and I don't quite know what Christmas will look like throughout their childhood. Currently we have a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old. My 3-year-old is, more excited about Santa and about Christmas in general this year. And we have said in the past, although I'm not really certain that she had that level of understanding then, but we have said in the past that it's not just that Santa brings the presents, like mummy and daddy have to pay for those presents. So it's not we get the bill. It's not just a freebie we can ask for and expect anything we want. We have to pay for that because we want them to know the value of money, and we want them to know that while Santa might bring presents, who has to fund that? Mummy and daddy have to fund that. We don't just expect. There has to be this level of understanding that daddy goes to work and earns the money for our family. Mummy stays at home and takes care of them and the house, and we live from this shared pot. And presents, whether it be from us or from Santa, have to be funded somehow. And just that understanding of the way money works in a real sort of child-friendly and age-appropriate way. And so, like I said, I'm still figuring it out. I'm absolutely still figuring it out. But in terms of opting out of things, going to see Father Christmas is one of those things. I don't want a season that is just full of things, that I'm out and busy all day or all weekend, every weekend, just, doing things to make this season magical. Because from my childhood, I don't remember the things that I did. I remember the Christmas days. I remember the days at home with my family. I don't remember if we did anything. I don't remember going to see Father Christmas and I did it. But those things are not the things that stick out in my mind. The things that stick out in my mind are the time I spent with my family. And as an adult, the thing that's most important to me is the time I spent with my family. So one of my funniest now Christmas memories is how, in terms of how we structure our Christmas day, from when I was a kid even till now, we still do the same. Is we always opened stocking presents in the morning. I'm an only child, so it was just me when I say we. But I opened stocking presents in the morning from Father Christmas, and then After that, I would, have time to play with those presents. My family would be, preparing for dinner and stuff. We would usually have dinner sort of around lunchtime, our Christmas dinner, and then we would, once dinner was done and family presents would happen after that. So we would always open presents like 4, 5 o'clock. We are not the family that like opens every present first thing. It's more of a staggered process. And as a kid, it used to kill me. It used to really kill me. We used to finish dinner and we'd be like clearing away, and then you'd be like, "Can we open the presents now?" And then somebody would go, "We'll just make a cup of tea," and it'd be like, no, I can't wait any longer, like the anticipation. But as I've grown up, I've really appreciated that. I've really appreciated this sort of staggered day, and it's actually something that we do for our own children as well. Now, last year we obviously had a baby and a 2 year old, so we found Christmas really intense in terms of my 2 year old. I guess, the baby, he was just 6 months, so his sort of excitement around Christmas was fairly minimal. Other than pulling the baubles off the tree, there was not much else he was interested in. He wasn't really interested in presents, more interested in the paper. He was only just starting to eat food, so there wasn't really anything. Christmas dinner wasn't that much of a big deal for him. We only started weaning him about, end of November last year. So he has just turned 18 months now. So when he was 6 months was about this time last year. And so we noticed how much my daughter, when she was 2, she was almost 3, she's a February baby. And so she's now 3, almost 4. And we we noticed how very overwhelming Christmas was, even though we do things very slow and simply, and it still felt like a lot. Christmas Day felt like a lot to her. We always do like a Christmas Day with my dad on Christmas Eve. We've done that for many, many years. I've always celebrated Christmas Eve with my dad. And so, in recent years, and certainly since the children, it's become more of a like mini Christmas Day, I guess. And so we always do our presents with him on Christmas Eve. And we have like food and nibbles and drinks, and it's just like a little Christmas Day. And then on actual Christmas Day, we go to my mum's and we do presents and stuff there. And so what we noticed last year is, because obviously Christmas Eve we did presents with my dad, and also any presents that weren't like family that we were going to see presents. So we would do like any presents from my husband's side of the family, who we generally see like either before Christmas or after Christmas. So we would do their presents that they sent on Christmas Eve as well, and then the presents from family that we are physically with, we open on Christmas Day, and that includes our presents to the children too. And we even found that quite intense for the children, particularly H, my daughter. Because it is very overwhelming for them to just suddenly get all these presents and, tearing into it like, wow. And then it's like, okay, wow, wow. And they never have any time to actually sit with the presents that they have. So we've decided on doing things a little differently this year and enabling them to really enjoy what they've got and just enjoy it in the moment and not be like overwhelmed and then have this big pile of stuff, because even when you do things simply, you still get a big pile of stuff. And so we just want them to be able to enjoy their presents and just actually enjoy them in the moment and enjoy having something new and not be so overwhelmed by everything. So we are having my dad over again for our pre-Christmas thing, and so we will have him stay over a couple of nights. So we're currently thinking that on the 23rd, which is a Friday, my husband will, I presume, will be working right up until finish on the 23rd, and so we will have, maybe in that evening, just open a few little presents from, whether that be family members or friends, godparents and stuff, whether that be, just some little presents, just to sort of kick off like the present extravaganza. And we'll let them open, like, maybe a couple of presents then. Then on Christmas Eve with my dad, we will do the presents between us. So we'll open his presents, he'll open our presents, and that will just give the children time to enjoy the presents that they get from my dad, because it can very quickly get sort of swept up in everything else. The presents are enjoyed, and then it's off and on to the next one, and then you're like 5 days later and you're like, well, remember this? We haven't even looked at this yet. So I'm kind of thinking like a staggered present opening through Christmas Eve for them. And then obviously Christmas Eve, we will do, like mince pie for Santa and stuff like that. And on Christmas morning, my dad will stay over Christmas Eve night, and he'll still be here Christmas morning. So we'll do like a little stocking just for the kids to open on Christmas morning, and just of some like little bits, nothing big in their stocking. My stocking was always, like smaller items, things to keep me occupied up until dinner, things like that. So I've already got a few little bits for the kids for Christmas. We try and do secondhand as much as possible, and I've mostly achieved that. So we do have some new stuff, but yeah, we've got quite a few bits secondhand for them as well. And so they will enjoy their stocking on Christmas morning. And then we will go to my mum's on Christmas Day. They are coming to us on Boxing Day. And then on the third day, which we call 27th, we call Casserole Day, because that's when we always usually go out for a walk and then come back and have casserole. So on Christmas Day, the children will just open their presents they get from my granddad. We've decided that will just be what they do. So they'll have my dad's presents on Christmas Eve. They will have presents from my granddad on Christmas Day, and that is, other than their stocking, we're just going to focus on my granddad's presents. And then on Boxing Day, everyone is coming here, and so then we have decided that we will do presents from my mum on that day, and just presents from my mum. So it will give the ability to have that focus on the presents they get on that day. That is their focus, and it's not overwhelming. There's not loads of presents from loads of different people, and it's just the focus of the presents that happen on that day. And also, although this isn't the idea, it will also enable the people who give them the presents that are present to be able to, enjoy those presents with them as well. Because there comes a great joy in giving presents, and you want to, especially with the children, you want them to enjoy it. You put the thought into it, you think they'll like it, and it'll be nice for people to just have that time to spend with the children, enjoying the presents that they specifically selected for them. So that's the intention there. And then on the what day is it? I'm so confused now. So that was Boxing Day, and then on the aforementioned Casserole Day, we may do remaining presents, we may not. But certainly the following day, we are going to just do something, just the four of us, just me, my husband and the two children, just at home, like just a little mini Christmas Day, I think, and just then enjoy the presents that they have already gotten, and just have some downtime for them. It gets very overwhelming for small children throughout the Christmas season. And we might then, if we haven't done them on casserole day, then we're going to do the presents from us on that day. So we're almost spreading these presents out over like a 4 to 5 day period to just give them time to enjoy them and to not feel rushed, to not feel like overwhelmed by them, and just be able to enjoy the excitement of having these new presents. And prior to that, I think what we're going to do is sort of like clear the presents out. Not the presents, sorry. We're going to clear the toys out that we already have so that they can focus on their new toys. We do toy rotation anyway, so minimal toys for us is completely the norm. And we know that that encourages like a deeper sense of play and things like that. So that's what we're going to do ahead of time. We will just enjoy the presents that we get over Christmas and enjoy that, you know, people have picked them for us. So yeah, we will do presents for the children over this period of time to sort of stop the overwhelm and hopefully allow them to just really immerse themselves in the moment, the experiences and the toys that they're getting. The build up to Christmas can be so overwhelming. There can be so much to do, and there's almost just, I don't know, when you've got children as well, just, you know, all of these things that, you know, you're expected to do to make the season magical. And it doesn't have to be that way because, you know, like I said earlier, the magic is often in like those really small little moments. And it's not really about the presents. You know, while I've just spoken about like how we're going to approach present giving, you know, for us, Christmas isn't about the gifts. We do it, and we certainly do focus more on the children in terms of gifts, and you know we try and do our best in terms of giving presents. You know, we shop secondhand, we purchase things, you know, that are actually needed rather than just gifting for the sake of gifting. And so when it comes to all the other things surrounding Christmas as well, I think it's really important to remember that a lot of the joy and the excitement of the season comes from like the really small things. It doesn't necessarily come from like the perfect gift or going to Lapland or visiting reindeer or going to see Father Christmas. It doesn't have to be all of these expensive things, like I said earlier. And you know, if that's your thing, that's your thing. But you know, here on this podcast, we're talking about, you know, simplifying and slowing down. That's what we're about here. And the big, the extravagant, to me, it feels like too much. It feels too much for me. It feels too much for my children, my family, and it's, to me, it just feels like excess. And it's just not for me. And it's completely okay. I want you to know it's completely okay if you say, no, that's not for me. And, you know, we can certainly get caught in these cycles. I'm not exempt from it, where you feel like, should I be doing more? Am I making this magical enough for my children? And, you know, that, like I said, the magic comes from those really small moments, sometimes that you don't even notice. Like some of my best memories are from the tiny moments, the normal moments, the almost insignificant to the eye moments, just being with my family. It's never about the presents I receive, but it's just about all being together at Christmas. And I know not everybody has that relationship in their families, and I'm incredibly lucky that we do. But I don't want the consumerism and the consumer culture and this drive to always be looking for the bigger and the better. It's not what my life is about, and it's not what I want Christmas to be about. I want Christmas to be about those small moments, about saying yes to the things that serve us and no to the things that don't. I don't want to be dragging around all of December, seeing Father Christmas here, Father Christmas there, sending Father Christmas a letter now, getting this, getting that, standing in queues, standing in crowds. No, it's not for me. And while I say that, we have just gone to our town's Christmas fair. We went there yesterday, time of recording, and they do like a parade. They have like an all-day event in our town, and it's lovely. It really is. It's full of craft stalls and food stalls and like rides that adults, children can go on, and it's just really enjoyable. It is enjoyable that, and our town really comes out for events. We're really lucky where we live. I mean, it's one of the reasons we live here, because we love it. And the events that take place in our town and the way they take care of our town is like second to none. And so we did take the children to this event, and there was like a Father Christmas parade, and then they switch on the lights on the tree, and they have like a firework display. And so we did take the children to that. Like, that was a lot. It was busy, it was packed, but I wanted to see if it was something the children would enjoy, and they did. They really did enjoy it. It was free, right? So there was sort of no expense on that, and was a bit busy for my liking. It's very rammed in amongst a crowd at one point, which is not my favourite, even in the pre-COVID times. But since COVID, like, I'm just not used to being in massive crowds, as I'm sure many of you can sympathise. And so we did take them to that. They did enjoy it. We saw the tree being lit, and we saw the firework display, and then we came home. We didn't spend a lot of time there. We just went for the things that served us and then came home, and it was enjoyable, and the children really enjoyed it. But I already feel like that's me done. Like, that's what I need for the Christmas season. And we will probably go out, we'll check, but we always have, like, the Rotary Club always do like Father Christmas going around the streets on his sleigh. I always loved that as a kid. It was always incredible, and we took the kids out to see it last year, and my daughter really enjoyed it, and so we'll do that again this year. And then other than that, I don't think we will do anything in terms of like scheduled events. I think we might pop to the garden centre, because they have like a little Christmas trail you can walk around, and that's very minor, and we'll go during the week when everyone's at school. And yeah, that's all I really feel like doing. And other than that, we've got some plans to see some family and some friends ahead of Christmas, so we'll get that done. Again, very low key, nothing too over the top. We'll do our usual scheduled stuff that we do. H at nursery, she has a couple of little Christmas things going on there, and with Forest School we have a little Christmas thing going on. But other than that, I'm not going to get involved in anything else, because it's a lot. It's a lot, and it's okay to say no to the things that are too much. In terms of putting our Christmas tree up, putting your Christmas tree up is a personal preference as well. So much around Christmas is a personal preference, and this is not, as usual, this is nothing against anybody who does what they want to do in their own home with their own lives. This is just, I guess, sharing for people who are, sometimes feeling a little overwhelmed by the season and feeling the expectation of doing things, just to know that it's okay to say no, and it's okay to opt out of some things. And we all have sort of like different levels of Christmas. I enjoy Christmas, I really do. I'm not Christmas crazy, but I enjoy Christmas. But I enjoy it in our slow and simple way. And so putting up the Christmas tree for us is a December project. We don't have a real Christmas tree, only because I'm allergic to them. I'm allergic to pine needles. They make my skin ever so itchy. And so for us, it's easier to have a fake Christmas tree so I don't have to deal with being itchy all Christmas, because I'm sure that would make me really dislike Christmas. And so yeah, we have a fake Christmas tree, and we put that up every year. And other than that, we just do have some sort of like minimal decorations. I actually think I'm going to sort of minimize our decorations this year, because we do have a lot, but I just, I like the feeling of having the stuff out to an extent. I get to a point where I'm like, I just want my house tidy. And to that end, I always clear up my Christmas tree before the new year. I hate wandering into the new year, which always feels like a fresh start, right? I hate wandering into the new year with my house not feeling clean and fresh and ready to go after Christmas. So I do like to get the stuff away. When I was growing up, we always left the Christmas tree up over New Year, but as an adult, in my own home, I do prefer to clear it up. And actually, my mum does the same now as well. Just get it tidied away and let's start afresh. Let's go again. Once the Christmas celebrations are over, I just don't feel the need to stare at the Christmas tree anymore. So we will put the Christmas tree up either in the first or second week of December. And the reason for us personally why we don't put the Christmas tree up earlier is, for us, November, we're still celebrating autumn. We live a seasonal life. We live according to the wheel of the seasons. And here in the Northern Hemisphere, autumn is until the end of November. So until the end of November, we are very much still in autumn mode. I still have, my autumn decorations up. I have, like pumpkins around still. I am, I'm not a Halloween pumpkin kind of girl. We're celebrating autumn. We've got, leaves and pumpkins and the oranges, and they stay up through, September through November. And so yeah, until we've finished out our autumnal celebrations and everything that comes with that, then we will just continue to enjoy that. And then then it's technically we start celebrating winter, but we will always move from autumn into Christmas. And then when Christmas is packed away, Christmas is just part of the winter season in the northern hemisphere, and so we will celebrate Christmas, and then we will spend the next couple of months celebrating winter. And that just what feels right for us in our home. So I know sometimes when you see all the Christmas trees going up, you're like, oh, I'm not ready. And I'm there. I am not ready to put my Christmas tree up yet. Like, I keep seeing on Instagram people putting their Christmas tree up, and I'm like, oh, should I be excited already? Because I'm not currently. And so I think in the next couple of weeks we'll think about the tree. But obviously I'm thinking as well, like, it's not about me. If it was just me and my husband, I might only put the Christmas tree up like just before Christmas. And I know many of you who have real trees have to do that, right? You can't put your real tree up in November because it'll be dead by Christmas. So it's just what works for you and your family. Christmas, it's a busy season, and there's no escaping it to some extent. There's always going to feel like those pressures on, scheduling all these events. We must meet up before Christmas, those sorts of things, and seeing all the people that you love and adore and want to see around Christmas and celebrate Christmas. And, that can be quite overwhelming too. We, very much try and keep our schedule open to the people that we really, 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 want to spend time with and really want to catch up with before Christmas. But also remembering that, it can be really busy for everyone, and there's nothing wrong with actually scheduling things after Christmas. And why I would love to catch up with everybody before Christmas and enjoy the season with everyone. It's just not possible to squeeze everybody in. So it's about this balance of seeing people, but also understanding that everybody's busy, and including ourselves, and giving ourselves grace and allowing ourselves to say, no, I don't have time and I want to see you. So, shall we just do something in January instead? Because January here in the UK, and I guess in many countries, colder countries in the Northern Hemisphere, January is miserable. It's cold, it's dull, nobody's got any money because Christmas has just happened. There's nothing to look forward to because Christmas has passed. I mean, we do have in our house, mine and H's birthdays are in February, so we do have those to look forward to. But in general, January can be a tricky month, especially in terms of paydays. We often get paid here in the UK. Many people do get paid ahead of Christmas, and therefore you have to make that paycheck. It's like 6 weeks until your next payday. So everything just feels very long and drawn out after Christmas. So certainly if you feel like there's a lot going on before Christmas and you're starting to get overwhelmed, then push some things back to January. You can still celebrate your friendships and the people that you love to have in your life. You can still celebrate in January. It doesn't have to be Christmas related. And something we're going to do this year, we're not seeing most of my husband's side of the family before Christmas, just because schedules just don't work that well. We're seeing some of his family before Christmas, actually next weekend, which I'm really excited about. But the rest of his family who live further away, we aren't going to get to see before Christmas, like I said, because schedules just don't work out. And we also want to make sure that we're not ferrying the children here, there and everywhere when the season is overwhelming enough in that Christmas week. So we're actually going to go and celebrate together in January. And so I'm really, really looking forward to that, because we haven't been up to them for a little while. And so I'm really, really looking forward to that as well. And yeah, there are so many things about this season, like I said, that can be so overwhelming, but there are also so many ways that you can actually just stop, take a moment and say, these are the things I want and these are the things I don't want. And it's okay to say no. It is always okay to say no, and it's always okay to opt out of the things that you don't feel serve you. If you don't want to go to the Christmas tree farm, if you don't want to go and have breakfast with Santa, if you don't want to visit Santa's grotto, if you don't want to do endless meetings of pre-Christmas drinks with people, say no, because you will get overwhelmed, and when you're overwhelmed you will be more stressed. And you can do this season simply and slowly and at your own pace, and that can be your own physical pace, it can be your own mental pace, and it can be your own financial pace. Christmas, whether we like it or not, comes with some financial implications, and the world is, I don't know, it's in a bit of a tricky position at the moment, and money is tight for so many people. And just remember that Christmas isn't about the gifts, it's not about these expensive experiences, it's not about going to see Santa at Lapland or going on his sleigh. It's not about these big, bold things you see on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook. Christmas is about those small, slow, simple moments. They are the things that you and your children and your family, that's the things that they'll remember. Those are the memories that they will treasure. I don't remember most of the things I got for Christmas. In fact, the only thing I can remember, particularly as a Christmas gift from when I was younger from a memory, was a Barbie dream house. And it rocked, to be honest. And I've given it to H now. She plays with it. But I don't remember the gifts I received. I don't remember who gave me what. I don't remember what Santa bought me and what my parents bought me. I don't remember what happened in what year and what presents I got in which year. I don't remember if I went to see Santa or we went and did all of these fantastic things. But I do remember those small, quiet, slow and simple Christmas days and Boxing Days where it was just us, it was just our family. We were switched off from the outside world and we just enjoyed each other's company, exchanged gifts, exchanged love, and just enjoyed ourselves. And those are the memories that I treasure forever. And those are the kind of things that I want to pass on to my children and want my children to treasure forever. I want them to remember the feeling of Christmas and not the consumerism of Christmas. Like I've said throughout this episode, Christmas means something different to all of us. And for some of us, we love to go big, and for some of us, we like to slow down and simplify. And I hope if you're in the latter, there are some things in this episode that you've been able to take away and that maybe you'll implement in your own life, or you've heard it and we're like, no, that's not for me, I prefer to do this. However you celebrate, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful Christmas season. We're heading into December and, there's so much to be excited about and so much to be thankful for. And we've had, the year hasn't been easy on everyone. Life is forever changing and our world is, I don't know, in a funny place at the moment. But I hope you are able to slow down and simplify and just enjoy everything slow and simple that the Christmas season have to offer, because it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't have to be big and brash and bold. It can be small, it can feel insignificant, but those are the memories that will honestly last a lifetime. Thank you so much for listening to today's podcast. I hope you enjoyed this episode with me and Beatrice at times. You know what she's like. She loves to get in and have a purr and just come and have a little snuggle while we're recording a podcast. And I love that because me and her don't get a ton of time to spend just the two of us. I really appreciate all of you guys who take time out of your days and your week to just listen to the podcasts and just consume the content that I put out to the world. I love that I get to do this and it's such therapy for me. I really, really appreciate each and every one of you. So I would love to speak to you guys over on my Instagram. Please connect with me there. You can find me on my username is @lifeonplot44, which is named after my beloved allotment. And yeah, I would love to see you there and speak to you over there. And if you're able, please leave a rating or review on this podcast. It would mean the world to me and it really helps other like-minded people find this podcast as well. So thank you again for listening, and I will see you in my next episode.